Hey guys, Mason here with Soul Shifting Insight. Today we're going to talk about meditation. And I'm going to give you some insights that are pretty basic, but also show you some techniques that I use in my meditation and why it helps me. So, to begin, if you're a beginner in meditation, I just want to say that it's very normal and okay for you to have a million thoughts racing through your head as soon as you start meditating. Because you have to understand that we live in a very overstimulating culture. So this is just your body and your mind and your nervous system adapting to a more still setting. The reason that I got into meditation is because my mind and I had an addiction, and that addiction got so severe. It was an addiction to a certain type of sadness, right? So I got into meditation to really clear my mind, and I felt really disconnected before I got into meditation with God, with who I am as a person. I just felt really all over the place. And I've been training and practicing for, I'd say, 4 or 5 years now, and I've done several different types of meditation and found what works for me. So I'm going to share those 3 things. And first thing is a meditation where you're coming back to stillness and inner spaciousness. And when I say inner spaciousness, I mean like when you close your eyes, you're focusing on the blankness of behind your eyelids, okay? And you're focusing on that emptiness. So that emptiness is what you become during the meditation. And this is the place that you have to seek, this inner space, when you start noticing your mind leaping from one thought to the next and racing. Some meditations don't practice that. Some do. Most of the mindful meditations out there do, about coming back to that inner spaciousness. And what I've realized as I've practiced this technique in meditation, that I'm actually getting closer to God, and my faith is stronger. My trust in the unknown and what could happen is stronger. And I know who I am, right? So a lot of uncertainty about who I am, what I was here to do, my purpose. So I personally believe that everyone has a soul, and I don't see it as a belief. I think it's fact, right? Everybody has a soul. I mean, science is still trying to understand the soul, but the soul is God. Your soul is the kingdom of God. It's what connects you to spirit. It's what connects you to higher realms. And so this inner spaciousness is where you can actually become very present and still with that spark in you. And that's why it's so important to get you closer to God. But I'm digressing. So my 2 other techniques, we'll say 3, that I use in my meditations is we use a lot of breath holds and exhale and hold. So you breathe in as much as you can. You fill up your chest and your stomach as much as you can. When I breathe in, I like to focus on expanding my diaphragm. Because a lot of people in meditation, they get confused on, do I expand my stomach or do I expand my chest when I breathe in? And I like to focus on the center where your solar plexus is. When you breathe, this breathes out the stomach and the chest at the same time. That's one technique. And what I combine with that technique is a thing that we call abdominal lock. So I'll demonstrate here in a second what an abdominal lock is, but it directs the energy flow in your body, in your chakra system, in the prana. It redirects it, it helps move it, and it unblocks some of the things. So this is the demonstration of the abdominal lock. After you fully breathe in, you want to fully exhale. When you fully exhale, you want to tuck. It's hard for me to talk while I'm doing it. You want to tuck your diaphragm and suck in your abs. And if you could do it as much as you can to your spine, like sucking in as much as you can to the back of your spine. Obviously, it's not going to touch it, but that's just a good metric if you're doing it right. And make sure when you're doing it as well that you're expanding out your rib cage and your lungs while you're doing it. Not breathing in, but you're flexing those muscles, pushing that up. Second technique is a root lock. And this is more important to me, I think, than the abdominal lock. Because when you're sitting in lotus position and you're meditating, you can perform the root lock. It's not as easy to do the abdominal lock when you're meditating. But you can still do it. It's just the certain position that you're supposed to do it is more standing up. So the root lock technique is where you are squeezing your butt muscles, your pelvic floor is what they call it, and you're squeezing as if, imagine yourself having to take a shit, and there's no toilets around. You have to squeeze in, you have to keep it in. So you're squeezing your butt muscles. That's what a root lock is, if you can imagine it. So when we do root lock, you could do it when you exhale or inhale. It just depends on what you want to do. I personally like to do it after I've exhaled fully, and I hold the root lock for 15 seconds. So, and then I squeeze the pelvic floor muscles together for 15 seconds and hold. And I don't breathe in. I am fully exhaled. And after that 15 seconds, I do that in meditation after I do a session where I inhale and hold. So I like to inhale all the way, take a deep breath, and you like to hold that energy, right? Like I said, in the abdomen, in the solar plexus, in your diaphragm. You hold that energy for 30 seconds is what I try. And then when you return your breathing back to normal for a few cycles. I usually do 3 to 5, just normal breaths, in and out. And then after that, you breathe in all the way, and then you exhale fully. And that's what I'm talking about when I say we exhale fully, and then we do the root lock, and we hold for 15 seconds with that full exhale. And the reason I use root lock is because what happens is the prana, the energy in your body, when you do that root lock, it helps keep that prana in your body circulating up and down instead of exhaling from the bottom. So holding that root lock, also another benefit of doing the root lock is, like I had mentioned before, the reason I got into meditation is because I was struggling with addictions. And the root of addictions often is fear and survival-based thinking and trauma and depression. And those are more root centered emotions, especially when you're not really connected and you're out of balance with your heart and your mind. You can get really out of tune and misaligned or unaligned with your energies. So that root lock helps heal addictions, I believe. All root locks are doing are redirecting energy and opening up energy channels in your body. So if this part is blocked, or this part, or this part, or this part, or this part is blocked, doing that lock is going to help free up energy, because basically what you're doing is you're adding pressure to your energetic system. So when you release that pressure, things flow easier. And then this is my practice. And then a part of my meditation that I also do, within the first 10 minutes of my meditation, chanting the mantra Om, because what I find is it helps clear the mind. Like if you're struggling with racing thoughts and you keep breathing deep in and out, but the thoughts keep circling through your nervous system. What I find, especially if they're intrusive thoughts or OCD type of thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Those types of thoughts can be combated with chanting Om. Just do this. And when you do that, you're feeling your body and you're getting out of your mind. And you're feeling it in the vibration in your head too, in your throat, in your chest, and even down to your root. You're feeling that vibration from the chant of the Om. And I usually do 10 repetitions. And after that, what I like to do is just sit in silent meditation, continuing my breath work, noticing my breath, staying conscious of my breath. And what I find is after I do those, after I chant those mantra Oms, I'm not so full of racing thoughts, and my mind is clear, and I'm able to get back to that inner spaciousness that I was referring to earlier. Get closer to God, to really align my energies, and to really be present with what needs to be done now. You know, sometimes it helps me after I do this meditation, I'm able to plan my days better. I usually try to do them first thing when I wake up in the morning, or first thing before bed. And the reason I like to catch these times specifically is because after you wake up, like as soon as after you wake up, your brain waves are in a theta state. and before you go to bed, your brainwaves are in a theta state. And this is the perfect brainwave state for meditation, in my opinion, because this is where a lot of epiphanies come through. This is where a lot of insight that you didn't know you needed come through in your consciousness. So that's also another benefit of doing this type of meditation. It's this type of meditation that I do, and I made it a guided meditation. You can find it on my channel. I just posted it. The reason I did this is it's a sort of hybrid, right? It's a hybrid of different techniques, and I find that it's able to get me to that inner spaciousness a lot quicker than sitting for an extended period of time. I generally shoot for 30 to 35 minute meditations. Just try it out and see what works for you. That's the best thing I can tell you. I mean, you can listen to my advice, but we're all different. Now, I will say this, and this is sort of a PS little side note. This hybrid meditation that I use and the practices I use within that meditation, they can be in some sort of a spiritual bypass to some emotions that you need to confront. So I do recommend just silent, still meditation, just very basic meditation, just focusing on your breath for as long as you can first. If you're completely new to meditation, I would focus on that first, because you need to really get present with some of those emotions within you that you probably haven't dealt with. Because if you haven't done meditation ever and you're jumping into my hybrid meditation, what you're going to do is you're going to find that the ohms are kind of a shortcut, and you can shortcut these emotions and shortcut these issues. My whole thing with healing is that you have to become present with those things first, and you have to feel them to heal. But there comes a point, especially if you're an addict or a former addict or you're in recovery, you'll understand this, that those emotions become addictive. And so they come back as a form of resistance when you're trying to elevate your consciousness or just do anything high vibe. It's just a weird cycle in the healing journey. You have to experience those emotions to heal them. But then, resistance will use those emotions to get as a backdoor into your consciousness to lower your vibration again. So you have to start with feeling it, but eventually you have to gradually get away from that. So this meditation is sort of I would say probably a journeyman, sort of apprentice, adept level meditation. It's advanced, we'll say that. It's an advanced hybrid technique, especially if you're just getting into meditation. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And let me know what you think. Have you tried these meditation techniques? Catch you guys in another video.